Okay, here we go. So here we go then with Supercharge Your Business, Your Super Sales Building Plan. This is part of a series of webinars designed to give people some essential business skills, not just to be able to adapt to survive during lockdown right now, but also to help you plan to thrive when we get out into whatever the new normal is going to be. The Supercharge Your Business series covers things like this, your sales building plan. It also covers things like creating your business vision, finding your super client. There's a load of stuff available out there, and you can find details of all of that on my Facebook page and also the website. So let's get started. I'm going to go into the first part of what you need to do to start building your sales. And the very first thing that you need to make sure that you have clear and precise is a vision for your business. Now, that vision needs to be a valid vision that is easy for you to understand. And if at this point you're thinking, oh, blimey, I haven't got one of those, don't panic. I will send you a vision planner along with a link to the recording of this webinar afterwards. Because if you don't have a clear vision of what you want your business to do for you, it's actually really difficult to set accurate targets. Having a business vision that works for you is all about thinking about what you want from your business. Don't let other people influence that. So if what you want from your business is global domination, go for it. But if what you want from your business is to achieve financial freedom, whether it's a second income or whether you just want to be able to afford even your own sweets and comics, then that's absolutely fine. But you need to have a business vision that you understand so that you can then start to think about setting targets that are linked to that vision. You need to be looking to set an annual and a monthly income target linked to that vision. So this is why the actual vision plan, and that's my dog barking, excuse me, is really important, because if you understand what you want your business to do for you, you'll be able to set realistic income targets linked to that vision. So when you're thinking about it, one of the big mistakes that I see people have doing a lot is they think way too big, way too quickly. And they're thinking, you know, I need to be earning tens of thousands of pounds a month in order to achieve what I want to achieve. Hold on there. Do you need to do that straight away? This is your sales building plan. So when you're thinking about your annual and monthly income targets that are linked to your vision, think about some sensible monthly and annual targets that will get you started. Your target can be based on sales, but what's even better is to base it on the profits that you make on your sales. So if you think about what you are looking at with regards to what you want from your business, be realistic with your targets and align them to your goals. Okay. Goals and dreams are two very different things. And one of the webinars in this series later on, I think in June, if I remember right, or it might even be next week, I can't remember, is all about goal setting. Because what's really important is to understand that a dream is not a goal and a goal is not a target. Your targets are what help you achieve your goals, and your goals are what take you towards your dreams. But you have to be realistic with that and to make sure that this is all aligned with the vision that you have for your business. One of the best ways to do this, once you've thought about what the vision you have for your business is to take a good old-fashioned piece of paper and just write down the key points that you want to achieve from your business in the next 12 months, and then break down a realistic figure that you want to achieve for the first 3 months. And then here comes the key bit. It's thinking about what reward structure you want to be able to use. This part is absolutely vital. And right now, while we're in lockdown, it's even more important, because one of the weird things that's going on right now is that we all thought we'd have all this time to do all the stuff we never got round to doing before lockdown. Well, guess what? We still haven't done them. And we haven't done them because of a lack of time. We haven't done them because they're things we don't want to do. And a lot of that can be brought round the fact that if you're not setting rewards that actually make you want to achieve the task, work towards the target, head towards your goal, you're just not going to do it. So when you have a reward structure, you need to think about a reward structure that's going to work for you. Now, outside of lockdown, I would have taught you about things like going out for lunch or going and booking a special restaurant. Obviously, our options are now a bit more restricted than that. That's the understatement of the decade. So why not visit your Amazon wish list? Go and have a look at the things you've put on your Amazon wish list that you haven't yet bought for yourself. The things that you haven't yet treated yourself to because it's either the time doesn't feel right or you don't think you're really worth it at the moment. You don't think that you deserve it. Start to pick some of those items as your rewards. Start small. Start with things that you want to be able to afford as a reward for starting to get those targets hit, and build up to some of those big wish list items. You know, the stuff you put on there when you're sat after a glass or two of wine, looking at all the stuff you'd like to have, and you add them and do all that stuff. So have a reward structure that means something to you, and then get cracking to have a look at it. The next thing that you need to do is to be really forensic when you look at what you sell. Whether it's a product or a service, you need to look at what's either making you the most profit or is your easiest or best seller. Okay. Now, sometimes that can be a bit tricky because we get a bit stuck around what we like to sell or what we like to provide and what people are actually buying. So first of all, take a good hard look at your sales figures because you are tracking them, right? And make sure that you have a clear idea as to what service or product you provide that makes you the most profit, or is that the one you find easiest to sell. And when you then have a look at your monthly targets, start with that, your monthly income targets. How many of those items, bestsellers or other services, do you need to sell to hit that target? Then you need to break it down to make it achievable. And this is so important. Great sales building plans can die or thrive based on this. And that is making sure that you don't give yourself a massive dose of overwhelm right from the very beginning. Because it's really easy to come. I had a coaching client who's just started with me, who had their first session last week and said, I want to get 100 new clients into my business by the end of the summer. And I thought, okay, that's a great ambition. But let's break it down and have a think about why you want to do that. There was no clear idea there. They just knew they wanted to increase their client base. So we backtracked it a bit. And I asked the question, what do you find easiest to sell? What are people buying from you? When we worked out what that was, then we had a look at how many more of those things they needed to sell to be able to start getting the kind of income figures that they wanted each month to start to happen. And what really made the difference was, instead of sitting there and going, right, then off you crack, we'll get 100 clients on the books by the end of the summer. You know, it's already nearly the end of May. That's not very far away. What we did instead is we broke it down into achievable chunks. Once we looked at how many clients that worked out to be over the space of 3 months, which was roughly 33 and a bit clients a month, then we broke that down even more into it being around about 8 new clients a week. So just a little bit under 2 new clients a day. Now, you might be sitting there listening to this either live or on the recording and thinking, bloody hell, 2 new clients a day. But for this new client with their product and what they're providing, they were quite happy with that. And it was much less overwhelming than just having that target of 100 sat on a whiteboard staring at you every day. So when you've committed to whatever your financial targets are, break it down into how many bestsellers or whatever your most profitable product is, and break it down even further until you have realistic targets to aim for that don't give you a massive dose of overwhelm before you even get started. Create a chart that will also show you what your rewards are going to be for each target that you hit. So in this particular instance on screen, if you're looking for 5 new sales each day, what are you going to do when you achieve that? When you hit that 25 sales each week, what are you going to do each week to reward yourself for having achieved that? When you get to that 100 sales per month, what are you going to reward yourself? It's a consistent reward structure that needs to be in place, that's going to work for you, that's stuff that you want to work towards. Otherwise, you're just not going to be motivated enough to actually get on and do it. Building your sales plan involves putting those foundations into place. And then you need to think about how you're going to make it happen. And this is the tough stuff. So where are those sales going to come from? Right now, we are all having to market ourselves online. And one of the key things that you need to be thinking about is building your list. And again, there's another webinar in the program that talks about specifically list building. Now, sometimes people will say to me, yeah, well, come on, Sheena, I don't really need to build my list. I mean, email marketing's dead. No, it isn't. Email marketing is very far from dead, but quite a lot of people get it wrong. And instead of just building your list and simply selling to them, build your list and think about what you're going to offer. And this is where the glorious land of landing pages, giveaways, downloadables, and lead generators really start to come into play. So where are those sales going to come from right now? For all of us, it's pretty much going to be 100% online, i.e., you build the sales process up online and people are purchasing from you. So what online marketing do you need to do and where? Start by thinking about email marketing. But think about email marketing with regards to building your list and adding value to your list. So first of all, have a think about how many people you want to get on your list. If you've got one already, brilliant. Think about how many people you want to add. If you don't have a list, then think about how you're going to get one set up. Now, if you're thinking about where do I start, HubSpot has a really good free platform that you can use to get started. And even better, with that free platform, you can use some of these lead generation tools. And certainly from my perspective, I find them a bit simpler to use in HubSpot than they are in MailChimp, but MailChimp does the same. And there are loads of others mailing platforms out there that you could have a look at. So how many people do you want to get on your list? And then the most important thing is, what are you going to offer them to get them on your list? This is where the giveaways, the downloadables, the lead generators, this is where the magic happens. Now, a lot of the time people think, I haven't got anything to give. Of course you do. Think about your knowledge and your expertise. Think about the stuff you know. Think about the stuff that you share with people, the stuff that people ask you about. Put it all together in something that you can offer for free in exchange for somebody's email address and contact details. Right now, some really great things to think about if you want thinking about ways to get started are list guides. So the 5 things I use in my business every day, the 5 top tips to get your business from A to B, for example, the 5 top tips to increase your cash flow in the next 3 weeks. You get the idea. Something like that, something that you can offer as a free download in exchange for somebody's email address and or mobile phone number, telephone number. You need some of that, and landing pages is how you can provide it. Landing pages sit independently of the main page structure of your website or simply independently in a privately hosted URL generated by HubSpot or by MailChimp. You go ahead and load up please put your details in here, and then as soon as they do, they can go ahead and download the item, whatever it is, the PDF, the ebook, the webinar recording, doesn't matter. And they're going to be able to do that. That gets them on your list. That starts the process. But then how are you going to keep in touch with them? When you get them on your list, you need to be really clear that that's exactly what they've just done. Thanks so much for downloading my goodies. I'll look forward to keeping in touch with you. If you don't want to do that, then please feel free to unsubscribe. Okay. How are you going to keep in touch with them? One of the things to think about here is the initial contact through email, but also thinking about getting involved and getting engaged with them online on other platforms. Go and find them. Go and find them on Facebook. Go and find them on LinkedIn. Go and find them on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever the kids are cooling down with this week. Go and start to build that relationship. But most importantly, when you're thinking about how you're going to keep in touch with them, remember that you're building this list to build your sales. So you need to have a clear message about what you want them to do next. Thanks for downloading this. Now I want you to, whatever it is, either it is buy something from you or download something else or follow you on social media, have a clear message. Are you going to blog as part of building your sales funnel? I would say that blogging is one of the most useful things you can do to promote your business, but most particularly promote your expertise. And a bit like the cobbler's kids having the worst shoes, I'm saying this afternoon and realizing I haven't put a blog up on my website for a while. Add that to my to-do list today. But if you're going to blog, you need to think about when are you going to blog, and you need to be consistent. And also then you can link that blog to your landing pages to increase your list. So when you send the thank you for downloading this, you could have something that says, for example, I've written a blog about this topic, you might find that useful, and you can go ahead and send that as a response to that particular download. Here's another really important thing to think about, which is which social media platforms you're going to focus on. Where is your audience? If your audience is on Facebook, if that's where you get the most engagement, then Facebook is where you need to be putting your effort. If LinkedIn is where you are getting the most engagement, where people are genuinely commenting, sharing, etc. on your content, then that's where you need to focus. If your Twitter account is just posting to an empty stream and nobody's engaging with it, then is that really worth your while? And then the last thing you need to think about when you're building your sales plan, where are you going to get these sales from, is what online networking you're going to do. It's the best way to get yourself out there in front of a national audience just through the 4N organization, let alone all the other online networking that's available. It's time to get on board with that and make that part of your sales building strategy. Because if you're going to supercharge your sales, you've also got to consciously commit to putting the time and effort in to make it happen. So how much time are you going to spend each week on this? This really depends on how important it is to you. If you're going to make it a priority, you need to put the time and effort in, because if you don't, the change will take longer to happen. You'll get demotivated. Those rewards, those targets won't happen. In fact, they probably won't happen at all. And in fact, I've just realized that this slide is out of date. I apologize. My 90-minute daily success plan is not tomorrow on the 23rd of April. It's next month in June. But that just gives you a structure to look at sales and marketing tips that you can use each day to keep you on track and on target. And even better, that 90 minutes doesn't have to be one block. You can break that down into half-an-hour chunks of activity that fit around when you are at your most productive. But before you get stuck into building this sales plan, you've got to be realistic about how much time you can commit to it. If you want those 5 sales each day from the earlier slide, you're going to have to put in the hard graft to make that happen. You're going to have to look at making those calls, sending those emails, tweeting those tweets, posting those posts, all that stuff on a consistent basis to get that traction going. So think about how much this is important to you. If new sales are something that you need right now, this needs to be your top priority, and you need to give it the time to deserve it. You then need to think about, when you're building your sales plan, when you're building your sales pipeline, how badly do you want to achieve that overall business vision? Because the reality is you're going to need to be flexible in order to achieve your goals, particularly now when all the things that we thought we knew about running businesses, all the things that we thought we knew about the meet, night, no trust process, that we thought we knew about the sales process, they're all changing. People are very cost conscious right now, particularly those whose incomes have either disappeared altogether or have been really, really reduced. So first of all, think about your pricing. Are you able to offer a special rate for a limited time to get people on board with you so that they can get a really clear picture of how working with you is going to benefit them and benefit their business. If you're going to look at your pricing and think about offering a low cost price to onboard people, then think about how can you add value? How can you add value not just to the new clients that you want to be able to get on board with your business, the new clients that you want to bring on board as you're building your sales plan, but those existing clients who are already buying from you? Where can you add value? Give advice, share tips, build your brand. You know, if you're not speaking online right now through networking meetings, then look at what you could talk about. Share your expertise, share a life experience, get yourself out there, share those information, share your knowledge, build your brand. Think about bundling some of the stuff that you do together for people to be able to get great value products. Buy one, get one free. Loyalty card type ideas. If you've got a series of webinars, like I do, for example, maybe look at doing, as I do, if you buy X, then you get these 6, however many, 1 free, that kind of stuff. You've bought this, here's my free e-guide. You've bought this, here's my free ebook. Thanks for your purchase. What's really important right now is to adapt what you're offering for the market that you're offering it to. Building your sales plan is really important that you look at the needs of your customers right now. And that involves being flexible and involves thinking about adding value rather than continually discounting, and having a clear structure about how you can do this to achieve those sales targets. If dropping your price for 3, 6 or 9 months is going to get those 5 new clients on board each day, look at the long-term value to your business and think about how you can add value back during that time. So what happens next after this particular webinar now? Well, the first thing you're going to get is the vision planner that I sent you, I talked about before. You'll also get a 90-day sales planner. So there'll be a couple of attachments coming with the recording. Now, because this is happening during Teams or through Teams, is a little bit different. I have to wait for the recording to be processed in Teams, and then I will upload it into a YouTube channel that I will then give you access to. So it will take a little bit of time to do that, but hopefully not too much. For those of you who are going to be watching the recording, I know there's quite a few who've booked a spot but haven't come on the live today. If you haven't had a 15-minute taster session with me, then there will be a link to help you do that, as well as information about further webinars in the series so that you can take those up should you want to. So right now I am open for questions. If you would like to pop any questions either in the chat window, or Carla, if I know you're live with me today, if you want to take yourself off mute and ask me any questions live, that's fine. The floor is open to you.
Can you hear me now? Oh, I don't think I muted myself.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, no, I've still got to do lots of catch up. I've been doing, I did a workshop last week on social media, so I've got a long list of things to do. I'm going to be working on the LinkedIn because I saw them as all suits, but actually I think I'll be able to go there. But I think a lot of our conversations will follow on with this next week when we do our next session.
Awesome. Cool.
So, yeah, so I don't think there's anything that I would ask that someone else would ask. I don't think at this point, because you know what where I'm trying to go. So I think it'd be better for us to have that chat next week or whenever next week.
That sounds brilliant, and I will look forward to that. And and then you can go off and enjoy the rest of this absolutely glorious day. It is literally so hot. I am watching plants wilting outside in the garden. It's an absolute roaster. So yeah, absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Carla, for joining me this afternoon live. Really appreciate it. I'll look forward to talking to you next week. And for those of you who are going to pick this recording up later, do get in touch if you've got any questions. I'll be happy to answer them later on. Carla, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, sweetie. I will talk to you later.
Okay then. Cheers.
Cheers, Anne. Bye-bye.